Hi, my name's Audrey. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be doing a bit of a reading vlog, and as of right now, I'm in the middle of tandem reading Empire Storm and Tower of Dawn. So this vlog is probably just gonna focus around me reading these two books and getting through them. I'm about 100 pages into both of them. I started them and gave a little bit of my thoughts in my last reading vlog, so go check out that one if you want to get my full feelings so far. I'm just going to give you an abbreviated version of my thoughts on these at the start of this video because you should go check out my other video. You should go check it out. I think they're pretty sick. So you could stick around for this one and then go watch the other one, or go watch the other one and then come check this one out because timeline wise, that one would come before this one. Whatever order you want to do is up to you, but you should watch both of them in my opinion. But I'm tandem reading both of these. I'm currently at page 110, chapter 9 in Tower of Dawn, and in Empire of Storm, I'm at page 134, chapter 14. So I'm about in the same spot in both of these. I haven't got very far at all, but I'm getting my grasps on what we're doing, what is going on, who we're following, who the characters are we are getting introduced to, because in Tower of Dawn we're going to a completely different continent and following a small group of characters from the previous ones, and then we're getting introduced to so many new characters. You just get thrown in. At first I was very confused as to what was going on. I was just so confused, but as time has gone on and I've been reading back and forth between the two, I've slowly gotten my grasp on what's going on and how this tandem read is gonna go. As of right now, I prefer reading Empire of Storm just because we're in the same continent so far. We're following the main group of characters that we've been following in the previous ones. There's already been some character development of Manon, which is insane. I'm so happy she's had some character development. And so much is happening. I'm worried about already so many of the characters. So I'm excited to be continuing specifically this one because the characters that we've gotten to know throughout the previous ones are really important and really prominent in this one. While in Tower of Dawn, we're following just a small group and we're getting reintroduced to one of the characters that we barely got a little bit of info on in the previous books. So this character got brought back in, and I'm happy to see that they got brought back in because I had a feeling in the previous book they were gonna get somehow back into the storyline. So I'm excited to see where that character goes and if they'll be more prominent as the storyline goes on. So I'm really enjoying my time tandem reading because you're seeing how some actions in Empire Storm impacts the people in Tower of Dawn. It makes sense as to why they're separated into two books because of the setting and the group you're following being completely different, so I'm understanding that. Today is the release day of The Sun and the Star Maker by Rachel Griffin, and I could not be more excited. So I need to go do some errands and get some things, and on top of that, I'm gonna go try to find myself a copy. So that is what we're gonna do today. I am so excited. You don't understand. I've been a massive fan of hers since our first book got released. So we're gonna go and see if I can find myself a copy of The Sun and the Star Maker. I literally don't know the last time I gave you an update. I really haven't touched Tower of Dawn and Empire Storms in a good while. I just haven't been in the mood to sit down and physically read. So instead of that, I picked up some audiobooks so I could work on updating and trying to get my reading journal up to date instead of sitting down and reading a book. So I could do my reading journal at the same time. And that's been working so far. I'm very behind on my reading journal. I'm still working on putting some of my thoughts on these pages. But like this, I have a book and I have the finish date, and I just haven't put my thoughts down, but I have my aesthetic pages down, so I'm getting there. And then I have a lot of blank pages still. And I've already started my 2026 spreads. So I've been trying to catch up with this. I need to sit down and fully think out what I want to write on each one of these pages because some of the books are from October and November I literally haven't updated so many of these. I've been trying to update this as much as I can, so this isn't eating away at me because I've been thinking about this since the beginning of the year, basically. So I've been working on that today while listening to audiobooks, and I've already finished 2 books and I didn't give you any updates on them. I just started cranking out the audiobooks because they were really good and I was enjoying my time already. I got put into a slump just because of how much of Sarah J. Maas's world I've been engrossed in. So I didn't want to pick up another fantasy book, so I wasn't thrown into another world, but I wanted to pick up something. So I was looking for some just contemporary romances, and I finished 2, and I finished them in the past 3 days. I've started and finished one today, and the other one I finished in 2 days. I don't know what happened. I've heard only good things about this series, and my library had them available for me to borrow on Libby and Hoopla. So I went for it. I wanted to see what it was all about, which is the Windy City series. They only have the first 2 books available, which sucks because I would literally just crank out the entire series if I could. I read Mile High. I really enjoyed my time while reading that. I didn't want to stop reading at all. It was so good. I was surprised at how good it was for the book. I was constantly engaged in their story and what was going on. I will say I hated the 3rd act breakup at the end. That was annoying. That was exhausting. I did not like that at all. I knew they were gonna get together, but I hated that. I loved how they met and all the friendships that grew around all of them. I just loved to see how both of the characters were dealing with family issues and how both of them were affected in the relationship as well. That was quite interesting because normally you only see it as one character having all the family issues. Both of them had family issues that they were dealing with throughout the book. So I think that was pretty interesting to see it on both sides of this relationship between Xander and Stevie. I really liked the 2 of them together. It was intriguing to see their relationship grow throughout the book because I'm pretty sure it took the entire hockey season for them to build this relationship, so it wasn't just like a week thing. It was a good while. They went through both Halloween and Christmas in the book, so it was a decent amount of time for their relationship to grow between the 2 of them, which I really enjoy when romance books take their time with the relationship instead of being super fast so you can get to know one another throughout it instead of them just jumping in and be like, I really like this person right off the bat. I like to see the yearning. I like the growth between the characters. Some books just go too fast with the relationship, and I really enjoyed how this one took its time. I like all the friendships that got built in this book, especially with Indy. I really love the twin relationship between Stevie and Ryan. I love that so much. It was so cute. It was just so wholesome and heartwarming seeing 2 twins love one another and just want the best for one another, and you got to see the protective brother aspect of it. It wasn't one of my favorites. I think I was coming out of a slump, so maybe I would have ranked it higher if I wasn't just not in the mood to really do anything. Maybe my rating would be a bit higher if I was in the mood for an audiobook or to read, but I would say my rating is pretty decent for what it was. I'm trying to put that into my mind because I might rank it a little bit lower if I just took that out and was like, it was eh. But I know if I was out of the slump, it definitely would be ranked a bit higher. So I'm putting that into account as well. I read the 2nd book straight afterwards, which is The Right Move, and I really love that one more so than the first. And I really love the relationship between Indy and Ryan. Both of them had a lot of baggage that they both had to work through throughout this relationship. I enjoyed seeing the characters from the previous book come back into this one. Obviously, since Ryan is Stevie's twin brother, it was interesting to see how some people in the pro sports industry could get taken advantage of by people they thought they trusted. That was interesting. That was a wild one. I kind of figured that was what was going on with him, with not being able to trust people and love life. Once it came out, I was like, damn, that would be terrible. It's just crazy to think that that could happen. But I love the growth between the 2 characters. You got to see all of it go together, and knowing the history of the characters in the previous book, I really enjoyed seeing their growth from the 1st book to the 2nd book. I love the banter in this one so much more than the first one. The Right Move was so good with them talking and working through what they needed to tell the other person. In the first book, miscommunication was a constant thing between the two of them, but in The Right Move, their communication was top tier. Even when Indy needed to take a step away from Ryan to give them both space, Ryan constantly, and I love this, constantly went and found her and followed after her because he needed to make sure she knew what was going on in his mind instead of letting it sit and brew. That is a complaint in the first one, is with the miscommunication between the two characters. It's just they let stuff brew between one another and never wouldn't actually talk. In The Right Move, they constantly were talking through stuff with one another and constantly making jokes, and I enjoyed the connection between Indy and Ryan. It was so sweet, and every single time Indy had a concern or needed to clarification with Ryan, Ryan constantly said what she needed to hear and would say what was on his mind, and not making jokes about something or saying something that he didn't actually mean. Because that's also something in the first book with the third act breakup, is he said stuff he didn't actually mean because Xander's was trying to protect Stevie, but he should have just talked to Stevie because it just made it 10 times worse because he didn't tell her the truth and talk to her. So that's one thing I really liked between Ryan and Indy, is that he told her what he was thinking and what was going on in his head, just so she wasn't thinking there was something wrong between them. And if there was miscommunication between the two of them, it was killed right then and there, just to make sure between the two of them they knew what was going on and where each one of them was standing. And at the end, when it kind of seemed like there was going to be a third act breakup, I really thought there was going to be. Indy went over to Rio's house and stayed over there for a night or two. And Ryan came and slept out in his car and wanted to talk to Indy. And Indy finally went out to talk to him and said, basically, you need to prove with your action instead of words, because words can only do so much. You need to prove in your actions. And he proved it within the next day. Such a great book. The Right Move definitely deserves a higher rating than the first one. I will be continuing the series. I just need to get the next books physically or as an audiobook. I am excited for the rest of that series, and I'm in the mood of just some contemporary sports romances. So I might pick up another audiobook. I kind of already requested it's in the Jacksonville Ray series. I read the first one in this series, but I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. So I want to see if the second one's even worth buying for my physical trophy of books that I've read. So we'll have to wait and see on that. I'm definitely going to take my time with that because I'm just in the mood for some contemporary sports romances. So I'm going to jump into the audiobook of that one and try to read through Empire Storm and Tower of Dawn physically whenever I get ready for bed and finally lay down to hunker in for the night. But right now I'm just in the mood for audiobooks while I'm doing other stuff, and I need to work on studio stuff for school, so I will be popping in those earbuds and listening to my audiobook while I do that too. So that's my update. Already 2 more books, so now I'm at 12 books completed this year now. I have 1 more week left in February. And I've already hit the number of books that I read last month. Crazy. I say I'm in a book slump and then I'm cranking out books left and right. So we'll have to wait and see how many more books I finish, or if I even finish Empire of Storm and Tower of Dawn this month. There's my update for you. So first off, I got my hands on The Sun and the Star Maker. I am so excited to get to this book. I have had this book on my radar for so long. I love this author. I love Rachel Griffin. I have every single one of her books in hardback when they got released. I'm a major fan of her writing and her worlds and her stories. They're so good, and the books are always so pretty. So I'm ecstatic to get around to reading this. I've seen such great things about this book online, so I'm excited to eventually get to it. I cannot wait. I've been following her journey with this book. I cannot wait to get to this book. I'm so excited. And it's so pretty. Look at those sprayed edges. Normally I'm not a fan of sprayed edges, but like, gorgeous. And then the inside stuff, and even the naked, it is gorgeous. I can't get over this book. I cannot wait to get around to this, so I'm so excited. I started another book, and that is Pucking Sweet, Pucking Wild, one of the two. I started another book, and I'm giving the author another chance. I was not a huge fan of the first book just because of what happened near the end, and I enjoyed the beginning part, but I didn't realize going into it was going to be 4 people all together. So I gave that book a really bad rating because that's not what I want in my romances. I just want it between two people. So I wanted to see if the rest of the books in this series were the same way. I want to give the author another chance. So I picked up the next book in the series, and so far it seems like it's just between two characters, so I'm really enjoying that. And I'm loving the banter. There's already some drama that's been going on and family situations. I love the friendships around these characters. It's just so sweet because you're seeing the characters from the previous book come back and be really good friends to the characters in this book. It's just so sweet, so wholesome. Drama's been happening around the family situations. It's just so sweet. I'm really enjoying this. I'm already 4 or so hours through the audiobook, so I'm really enjoying this one so far, but that could change very quickly if something happens down the road that I'm not a fan of. So right now it's really good. I paused my audiobook where the two of them are about to go on a little bit of a date, and he calls Tess his girl, even though they haven't even gone on a date yet, and they're just so sweet with one another. He's dealing with a hockey injury that has taken him off the ice for about a month, and they got pushed together as roommates for now, and he's not being able to sleep very well, so she's helping him with that, and it's just so sweet, so wholesome. The beginning made me laugh because they made a joke about being a caveman and there's been numerous instances where Ryan walks in and finds Tess just naked. And he's just like, Tess, put some clothes on. I can't do this right now. She's like, whatever. I don't care. If you have an issue with it, you're having an issue with it. That's on you, not on me. I'm loving all the drama that's going on around Tess and her husband, ex-husband. They're working through a divorce at the moment, and his family and her job and all that is very interesting to me, just seeing all that spiral. So I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely interesting seeing it's almost a 10-year difference between the two characters. So that's a little interesting, and I'm intrigued to see if that comes around in any of this book. I'm just curious, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So I'm gonna keep reading. Maybe the author's redeeming herself with this book, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm about to head back for spring break, so just ignore my pile of bags that I pulled out of my closet because I'm not moving those for this clip. So just ignore those. Pretty please, I'd really appreciate it. And my little book cart is completely gone because I'm taking it back to my parents because I'm trying to pack as much as possible, so whenever I fully move out of this apartment, I don't have that much stuff to take back. So my room is getting very bare at the moment. But anyways, I finished Pucking Wild. I should have known just because of the name of the book, but I forgot how much they have sex throughout the book. At the end there, I was hitting skip the chapter or speed, skip 15 seconds or something like that because it was a lot and I did not want to hear it all that much. It was just a lot of them having sex. I really enjoyed the storyline of Tess and her ex-husband. That was the most interesting bit, and I enjoyed how all the guys from the first book was so protective over Tess because she is their wife's best friend. And that she's an honorary price. I really enjoyed that as well. That was so sweet, and they are their own person, and so she has a different connection to each one of those boys. Ryan was so sweet. It kind of sucked that he got injured in the book, but it was a good way for Ryan and Tess to bond with one another and become closer. So they were cute together. I really did enjoy it. I was very iffy on the 10 years gap between the two of them, but it worked in this instance. And I liked how Ryan, every time he knew Tess was wanting to run from him, he automatically was aware and could feel that something was off. Tess wasn't acting right. Something's not adding up. So he went to tried to talk to her because she just kept wanting to run away. So I still say, even though I hated Tess's ex-husband, the storyline and the stress of having him around in the story was pretty interesting. It was an okay book. This one I enjoyed that it was between two people because I would get so jealous with my man. I don't like the idea of anybody else touching my man. So the first book, I did not like that aspect of it, but this one, it was just the two of them. We got to see a lot of the cool characters from the previous book in this one. And then you also get to see the build up and the building blocks of the next book in the series. So maybe I'll listen to that audiobook as well. I don't really know if I will because I think it's between 3 people. You get little glimpses of it in the book. Right now, I'm gonna take a little break from all that because that one was a lot. I just keep forgetting how spicy those books are because man, they are spicy. But since I was going through my room looking for stuff to pack up, I needed a little bit of a break. I sat down and I started working on one of my little projects I was given for Christmas, which was diamond painting bookmarks. And they're like little ones you can attach to the corner of a page. And they were so cute. And I've been meaning to get around to them and filming me doing it, but I just got in the zone and I finished all of them. I didn't see a point of me stopping after I did one, and I started with this one, and I really love this one. This one is probably my favorite out of all of them. So I started with this one. I just did not see a point of putting all the jewels up and figuring all that out. So I just went ahead with the next one, which I'm pretty sure I went to this one. I think this one's my second favorite for sure, but look how pretty. So these two are my favorite. But then after that, I went into this one. I really like this one as well, but doesn't beat the first two. These are so pretty. And then lastly, I did this one. This one's probably my least favorite, but also it kind of makes sense with my colors that I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of yellows and orange, so it's still pretty, but I just wish there was a little bit more blue on it. It's a lot of just pale yellow and white. It's still pretty. They all have their own character and they all stand out on their own way. They're all so pretty. I'm just a little worried with how these diamonds stick onto it, getting a lot of fog hair or my own hair stuck in between the diamonds while I'm reading, because I'll just throw these in my bed. So I'm just worried that it'll just get stuck on these, and I've already noticed hair getting stuck to it already. They're so pretty. I really enjoyed just sitting down and doing this. It's just like a paint by number. Stick the jewels where the letter or the number tells you to. But with all that, I was surprised with how many jewels I still have left. I can't believe I had this many jewels left. Whenever I was pouring them out in this tray, I was thinking, maybe they'll get used up. Some of these have a lot in them, and I don't think there should be that many of this color, but I don't know. I haven't finished them. So once I finished, I was like, damn, I still have so many left. What am I supposed to do with all these? Maybe I'll use them at some point when I want to bedazzle something, but I highly doubt it. So this might just get thrown in my desk and never to be seen again. I haven't really made too much progress on Empire Storm and Tower of Dawn. The tandem read has just scared me and it's a pain in my butt to jump from one book to the next, but I know the reason why. When one chapter is getting good, they pass out and then you don't know what else. The chapter's over and you don't know what's happening next. So you're left on a massive cliffhanger, so then you want to keep reading until you get to her next chapter. I was a little pissed off about that one whenever I got to that chapter, but I haven't got very far in them yet. I'm still, maybe read 50 pages the other night, but I was exhausted. Yeah, I was very exhausted that night, so I just read a couple pages and then put them down and went to bed, even though it was really late. I haven't really updated you on a lot of the books I've read. I've read a couple different books since the last time I gave you an update. I've just been very busy with school on my thesis project, so I took a little bit of a break from recording so I could solely focus on my thesis project. But while I've been doing that, I've been listening to audiobooks. I got through these in March, and today was my last thesis presentation. This was my last one, so now all I have to do is make a booklet. But while I've been doing all that for school, I've been listening to audiobooks. And the one book that I'm currently in the middle of is the last one by Rachel Housen Hall. I've been giving this book opportunities, I've been giving it chances, and I'm just not loving this book. I have gotten to chapter 20 at this point, and I'm just not loving it. I even got to part 2 of the book a little while ago, and I'm just not loving it enough at the moment. So I think I'm gonna put a little pin in it, and I'm gonna take a little break from this book because I'm just not loving it. It's not getting me into a vibe to just continue to pick up the book and read and enjoy my time. I haven't done this in a good long while. Normally I push through the books I'm reading, but I think I'm gonna pull out my nice bookmark and stick in a little index card just to mark where I finished, but leave it there and put this book back onto my shelf because I do not want to continue it as of right now, which is sad because I had really high hopes for this book, but it's just not it for right now. Maybe I'll come back to it at one point, but right now it's a DNF, which is really sad to say. That for how pretty this book is without the dust cover on it, inside pages, just I don't know, something about it was not hidden for me. So I'm gonna put it back on my shelf. Maybe I'll get around to reading it again, but right now we're not doing that. I don't like the main character, I don't like the world they're in, I don't like the side characters, and then also the narrator, like the audiobook reader, I also don't like. So I'm just gonna call it quits and not waste my time and energy reading a book at the moment that I don't like. So calling those quits. Now I gotta figure out what other book I want to read. I haven't given you any updates recently on my Tower of Dawn and Empire Storm tandem read. So I am at page 355, 56, chapter 30 in Tower of Dawn. So I made a good dent in this so far. And in Empire Storm, I'm at chapter 31 at page 277. Both of them are finally picking up and I'm really enjoying that. It's just right now I haven't been able to physically sit down and read. So I think the last time I gave you an update, I was like 100 pages less on both of these books. So 200 pages total I didn't read. So I have made progress since the last time I gave you an update on these. I'm really enjoying them. I will say as of right now, I don't know which one I like more as of who we're following, because you get Selena and the main group in this one, but then you're getting Kale and one of the characters from the Assassin's Blade and all that in this one, and then both of them have their pros and cons right now, and I'm enjoying both of them. I just need to get back into physically reading these because my thesis project with deadlines and whatnot, I wasn't able to sit down and physically read. So all I've been doing recently is just audiobooks. And when I listen to audiobooks, I always forget how long I was listening to them, and then I forget to give you updates on them. So that's why I've been just cranking out audiobooks and not giving you updates, because I keep forgetting by the time I finish the book. So I'm still working on these. It's just taking me a little bit because I always get distracted whenever I start reading this due to having to look up what chapters I have to read next on my phone. And when I do that, I just start scrolling again on my phone, which is a bad habit of mine. I know, but still working on these. I went shopping for books. While I was at Books A Million, I got Fury Song, which is the third book in the Fireborn series, in the Fireborn trilogy. I have the second one. I've been meaning to get to it. Just gotta be in the right mood for it. But now I have the third and final book. I got this one on sale. Couldn't pass it up. Normally I avoid books that have sprayed edges, but even the second one has sprayed edges. The only book in this trilogy that I have now is the first one that does not have sprayed edges. So it is what it is. These two I got on discount and I couldn't pass it up. First one was a good book. The second one, I haven't read it yet. I wanted to finish out and get the entirety of the series because I don't think I'd find this book at a Walmart or a Target where it had a discount. So $5 for this book. I was not gonna pass it up, and it was the only one I could find. So I wasn't passing it up. And I saw it, I was like, you're coming home with me. The second book I got is Summer Romance. I've heard really good things about this book from Haley Pham, I believe, and it was on sale, so I picked it up. $6 for this thing ain't bad. Normally it's about almost $20. I thought this would be a perfect book for this summer for me to pick up and read. I have a couple of different summer romances and books that I'm thinking about picking up, but now this one is added to it. I'm very intrigued. I've never read any books by this author before, and I'm excited to see what it has in store. I don't really know much about the storyline of this book besides what's on the back, and that's it. Allie is a professional organizer whose own life is a mess. Her mom died 2 years ago and her husband left, and she hasn't worn pants with a zipper in longer than she cares to remember. No one is more surprised than Allie when the first time she takes off her wedding ring and puts on pants with hardware, she meets someone. Or rather, her dog claims a man by peeing on him. Ethan smiles at Allie. Her pants are just right, like he likes what he sees. He looks at her like she's a younger, braver version of herself. The last thing newly single mom Allie needs is to make her life messier, and there's no harm in a little summer romance, is there? I'm intrigued. I'm ready to get into some good summer romances. And the last book I picked up from Books A Million is very out of my normal realm of books that I typically pick up and want to read, but I've been Some of the YouTubers I've been recently watching have talked about specifically this book, I don't think, but some of the books by this author as well. I've been intrigued by them, and I've been in the mood for historical books. I don't know why I'm in that mood at the moment. I did some research on the selection of books by this author and to see which one I should pick up. The book that online recommended for me to grab first was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have been really intrigued by this book. I think I've seen the movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time. And I don't know why, but I've just been really intrigued into getting into some more classics. I have the Chronicles of Narnia over here, and I also have the entire Anne of Green Gables series. I really love the first book of that series, and I have a little poster, and it's the top 100 books poster, and I want to mark off some more on that. I only have like 2 or 3 marked off, but this one would mark off another portion of it. I don't know why, I just really was inclined to picking up a classic by Jane Austen. I've heard people constantly talk about her books. Those were the books I got from Maximilian, and while I was going to get some medicine for me from Walmart, I of course went to the book section and looked at what they had, and I picked up The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I've finished the original trilogy of The Hunger Games last year, and I've been wanting to continue because I haven't even seen this movie. I've avoided spoilers. I've avoided watching it at all costs, specifically so I could read the book before I watch the movie. I want to read Haymitch's story as well before I go and watch the movie. I'm just excited to get to this book and continue the series. The Hunger Games series is just so nostalgic for me. I don't know why I haven't picked this one up yet. I think I had a good selection of books that I purchased and that I'm excited to get to, honestly. Good selection. Now that I just fully scrapped the book that I was previously reading, so now I have a new selection of books I could choose from to read, or have all these that I could also choose from. So we will have to figure out what I'm reading together because I genuinely don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling like. I could jump in and continue Empire Storm and Tower of Dawn, but I want to have something that I could like pick up in between reading those two that I could just crank out this weekend. So I'm gonna figure out what I will pick up next. So I chose a book to read last night and I started it, could not put it down. I don't think anybody's shocked about me saying that. Once I find a book that I'm actually enjoying, I cannot put it down. So I started The Comeback by Lily Chu. I got this from Books A Million a month or so ago. I read the back and I was like, this reminds me of some of the K-dramas I watch. I'm gonna give it a shot. I also picked up another book of hers at the exact same time because they were both on sale at Books A Million. So I figured I would just pick the both of them up because I love K-dramas. And I wanted to see if this would hit the spot that I would be looking for whenever it came to me finally getting around to reading it. And oh my god, I am enjoying this book so much. It's about this girl who's in a lawyer firm and she is just chugging away, not really enjoying work anymore, but just doing it to appease her father. And then her roommate's cousin comes and stays with them, and he doesn't fully admit what he does for a job. And so she's been trying to help him get back to his workflow. And all she knows is he's in the entertainment industry and he's struggling coming up with writing a song. And so she's trying to help him and their friendship grows. The beginning was fun. Chapter 19 on page 146, and I'm loving this so much. I love the two characters. Ari needs to finally realize what she wants to do for her job because she's having so much job issues throughout this book. She's done all this work to become a partner at the lawyer firm she's at, but this new girl that comes in at the beginning of the book got one of the big jobs that she's been working towards. This new girl gets thrown onto it, and Ari gets thrown onto something less important. And then throughout the book, you're seeing that she really enjoys writing up travel plans, and she wants to travel the world, and she finds enjoyment of thinking about different things you could do when you go and travel. But she's never traveled before because of her job. You're seeing Ari help Ji-hoon find his spark again for writing songs, and their relationship grows. There's family drama on Ari's side, and just a lot of stuff gets thrown at them. They kissed, and so you can see that growing between the two of them. And then shit hits the fan, and I'm at the point where it starts to ramp up, where the truth starts to come out. So I am loving this book so much. I started reading it and all I've been thinking about recently is just wanting to jump back into this world and get to the end of this book because I'm enjoying so much of it. It's just giving me my K-drama feels without me sitting down and watching a TV show. It's absolutely perfect. So far, I'm really enjoying it and I can't wait to see where this book continues. It's so good. I have another book by the same author. I have The Stand-In, and I picked that one up at the same time, and whenever I was deciding which book I wanted to read, I was going in between the two of these. So I automatically knew what I wanted to read whenever I realized that I was gravitating towards these specific books. So, good choice. I've gotten about 50 pages further, actually 70 pages further, and oh my god, I love the two of them together. But now Ji-hoon went back to Seoul, went back to Korea, and I'm so excited because Ari was like, oh, we can do this, we'll work this out. She accepted the travel request, the calendar invite, and Ji-hoon gave her an expensive watch being like, this will let you remember to save time for something that really matters to you. And it was a matching watch with him, and right before he left, she handed back the watch and was like, we can't do this, there's no way this is possible. Because the other idol that's in his group with him got into her head being like, you guys won't work out, we're gonna be super busy, there's no way y'all will be able to work out together. And it got into her head. She was having a breakdown because she really missed him and she doesn't know what she wants, what she likes, and she ended it. And now he's back in Seoul and she's in Canada, and the stupid work thing got in the way of them spending the last couple of hours together. And when she decided to leave and go to this work thing, I was like, you idiot. I understand this is your character and what your character would do, but oh my god, it was your last couple of hours with him and you went to do this work thing and you didn't even need to be there. Why wouldn't you just be like, I've got something going on right now that is important to me, I can't take time out of my weekend to go and do errands for you? Why would you do that when you have such a little amount of time left with him? And then everything was against her for them to meet up, and I hope that with them being apart, I hope she comes to terms with not wanting to be a lawyer anymore, and this firm she's at is just dog shit and doesn't really care about her. I hope she finally speaks her mind and does something she wants. She got offered this one job earlier in the book where she got offered this permanent position at another company, but she didn't take it, and they said, think about it, sleep on it, think about it, you're my first option. I hope that comes back around and she can work with this company and get her to go to Korea or something where she can work with this company for her to figure out what she wants to do and where she wants to live. This is such a K-drama book that I'm loving every single moment of it. Most of the time books do random breakups and it's just over this minuscule thing in the story. This breakup has a full-on meaning for it and it makes sense for the characters. I hope things work out. I hope things just work in the right way and I can just picture what's gonna happen, but we'll have to wait and see if my predictions actually work out. I've watched so many different K-dramas and this is just amazing. Like, this is hitting the spot for me. I've got to jump back in. I'm so excited to continue. I have to force myself to take a little bit of a break to be responsible and do my daily stuff that I have to do around here. So I'm excited to continue. This is such a great book. So I've made some progress in the comeback, but the thing is, I haven't fully edited my video at the time of finishing this book. So I think I'm gonna end this here because I think this might be a super long reading vlog, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm gonna end it there. You're gonna have to wait for my next reading vlog for my thoughts and feelings on this book. Sorry, but also I got you. If you want to check out my final feelings of this book, go check out my next video whenever I get it posted. Sorry, you're gonna have to wait, but it will be worth it. Anywho, thank you for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. Taking time out of your morning, evening, and night. Spending your time watching this video. I really appreciate it. Give the video a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to check out some more of my videos. I highly recommend. So, thank you so much for watching. Bye!